Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Welcome
Krishna.
to Sevaya. Hare Krishna, Praji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Prabhu.
Today we are very happy to have the association of His Grace Prasadeshwar Krishna Prabhu. He'll be sharing Bhagavata from 4th canto, 29th chapter, verses 33 and 34. The chapter is titled Talks between Narada and King Prachinabarhi. Hare Krishna, Praji, Dandavat Pranam. Please start.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Hare Krishna, and welcome all the devotees for Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We'll start with a prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayate Nastaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giram Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Om Tassat. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 29th chapter, text 33 and 34. 33 we'll read now. Yata hi purusho bharam shirasa gurum udhvan tam skandhe natsa adathe tatha sarva pratikriyaha yat hi purusho bharam shirasa gurum udhvan tam skandhe nasadathe tatha sarvaha pratikriyaha yata hi purusho bharam shirasa guru udhvan tam skandhe nasa adathe tatha sarvaha pratikriyaha. Synonyms. Yatha, as he, certainly, purushaha, a man, bharam, a burden, sirasha, on the head, gurum, heavy, udvahan, carrying, tam, that, skandhena, on the shoulder, sa, he, adathe, puts, tatha, similarly, sarvaha, all, pratikriyaha, counteractions. A man may carry a burden on his head, and when he feels to be too heavy, he sometimes gives relief to his head by putting on burden on his shoulder. In this way, he tries to relieve himself of the burden. However, whatever process he devises to counteract the burden does nothing more than put the same burden from one place to another. Purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This is a good description of an attempt to transfer a burden from one place to another. When one gets tired of keeping a burden on his head, he will place it on his shoulder. This does not mean that he has become freed from the strains of carrying the burden. Similarly, human society in the name of civilization is creating one kind of trouble to avoid another kind of trouble. In contemporary civilization, we see that there are many automobiles manufactured to carry us swiftly from one place to another. But at the same time, we have created other problems. We have to construct so many roads, yet these roads are insufficient to cope up with the automobile congestion and traffic jams. There are so many problems of air pollution and fuel shortage. The conclusion is that the process we manufacture to counteract or minimize our distress do not actually put an end to our pains. It is all simply illusion. We simply place the burden from head to the shoulder. The only real way we can minimize our problem is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and give ourselves up to his protection. The Lord is being all powerful, can make arrangements to mitigate our painful life in material existence. We'll read 24 also. Neshkintaha pratikaraha karmanam karma kevalam dvayam hi avidyo prastham swapne swapna ivanagaha. Neshkantaha pratikaraha karmanam karma kevalam dvayam hi avidyo prastham swapne swapna ivanagaha. Ivanaga. Naikantatah pratikaraha karmanam karma kevalam dvayam hi avidyo prastham swapne swapna ivanga. Synonyms. Na, never. Ekantah, ultimately. Ekantatah, ultimately. Pratikaraha, counteraction. Karanam, karmanam, of different activities. Karma, another activity. Kevalam, only. Dvayam, both. He, because. Avidya, due to illusion. Upaspritam, accepted. Swapne, in a dream. Swapnaha, a dream. Iva, like. Anga, or you are free from sinful activities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Narada continued, you who are free from all sinful activity, now one can counteract the effects of fruitive activities simply by manufacturing a different activity devoid of Krishna consciousness. All such activity is due to our ignorance. When we have a troublesome dream, we cannot relieve it with a troublesome hallucination. One can counteract a dream only by awakening. Similarly, our material existence is due to our ignorance and illusion. Unless we awaken to Krishna consciousness, we cannot be relieved of such dreams. For the ultimate solution to all problems, we must awaken to Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Once again, welcome all for Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So Narada Muni continues here with his instructions. He's saying that man may carry a burden on his head, and when he feels to be too heavy, he puts it on, give relief to his head by putting on a burden on shoulder. In this way, he tries to relieve himself of burden. However, whatever process he devises to counteract the burden does nothing more than put the same burden from one place to another. So these two slokas, continuously the theme is going the same. So in today's world, how the so-called technology or the scientific development, how people are trying to mitigate the problems by creating another problem. Or we think that we developed something, we think that we developed some technology, but how that problem creates more problem. Prabhupada in the purport very elaborately, both purport strikes the same point, how the so-called development or the civilization of the today's world has created a more problem. And at the end, he gives a solution. Both purport, he says, surrendered to Krishna, taking up Krishna consciousness is the only solution, nothing else. So in this purport also, he says, the human society in the name of civilization is creating a kind of trouble to avoid another kind of trouble. There are quite a lot examples we can discuss today. So how our so-called technological development, scientific development has created more problem. So it doesn't mean that we are against scientific. Prabhupada has always said utility is a principle. Whatever development we did, use it for Krishna service to the best extent. In that case, it will not create much problems. Otherwise, we are creating more and more problem only. Prabhupada also says that there are a lot of automobiles, a lot of factories, a lot of the infrastructure, roads, things like that to be built, and that in turn created more problems. And we will discuss. This is the theme we are going to discuss today. So Prabhupada here finally says that the real way to minimize our problem is to surrender to Supreme Personality Godhead, who gives us ourselves. We should give ourselves to that, his protection, and Lord is all powerful, can make arrangements to mitigate our painful life in the material existence. So this is a conclusion. We'll try to discuss few points on this. And same way, the next translation also, Naramani says, people are suffering, or people are going through the difficulties in going through the dreams, and the dream cannot be counteracted with the trouble by another hallucination. Dream has to be counteracted by the awakening. So many times people in the society are in the dream, and we have to awaken them. Jeev jago, like, we have to awaken them, and then only the ultimate, the goal of life can be achieved. Here also, he says, ultimate solution for all problems, you must awaken Krishna consciousness. That is the ultimate. In the purport also, Srila Prabhupada elaborately mentions that the material entanglement and the resultant activities are creating more and more problems. And again, back to the Prabhupada concludes here saying that going back to Godhead is the only solution. So Prabhupada also quotes in the purport Prahlad Maharaj kind of statement. So Prahlad Maharaj in Bhagavatam 7th canto 9th chapter 17th verse says, Yasmat praya priyayo viyoga samyoga janma shokagnina sakalayo nishudhayarmanaha dukha ushadho tadapi dukham atadadiyamam bhuman brahmami vadame taddasya yogam. O Great One, a Supreme Lord, because of a combination with the pleasing and displeasing circumstances, and because of separation from them, one is placed in a most regrettable position within the heavenly and hellish planets, as if burning in a fire of lamentation. Although there are many remedies by which to get out of the miserable life, any such remedies in the material world are more miserable than miseries themselves. Therefore, I think that only remedy is to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me in such services. So Prahlad Maharaj also, how he's saying that the material advancement, the material development, how it can create more and more problems. He says, dukkha ushado, it's bringing more and more dukkha. That's not going to give us solutions. Whatever development we do, whatever the material solution we find, for any problem, the material solution cannot give the permanent solution. That is the point Prahlad Maharaj is saying. But what is that conclusion is that I think that only remedy is to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me. Like Arjuna, how he said, Karpanya dosha upahata swabhava. He says, I'm confused. I'm totally, kind of confused in my material, my miserly mind. And he says, please instruct me. Same way, Prahlad Maharaj also is requesting, please instruct me, so that we can get the right knowledge. Otherwise, here Prahlad Maharaj says, how one is placed most regrettable position within the heavenly or hellish. Both are equal, whether heaven or hell, both are equal. Like Papa, Punya. Many times in the society, we may think that making Punya is good, but Punya is also leads to going to heaven. And after that, we have to come back. There is no permanent solution for that. Prabhupada sometimes jokingly says that that Papa Punya is like a stool, whether dry stool or wet stool. That's it. The difference is it's the stool only. So that is the point here. Prahlad is saying heavenly or hellish, but as if it's a burning in a fire of lamentation. In both places, that is lament, because we go to heaven also, we have to come back. There is also, birth, death, the problem is there. We cannot come up after the problems. So only solution is, he is saying, engage in your service. So this is the theme we are going to discuss today. So in Bhagavatam, one of the lecture in 1972, Srila Prabhupada writes, we are thinking, I shall be happy in this way. I shall be happy in this way. Nothing, you shall never be happy. It is a perfect instruction. Unless you go back to home, back to Godhead, just like a mad boy, he has forsaken his father. His father is rich man. Everything is there, but he has become hippie. So similarly, we are all also like that. Our father is Krishna. We can live there very comfortably without any botheration, without endeavor for earning money. But we have decided that we shall live here in this material world. This is called as, therefore, mudha. We do not know what is our self-interest, and we are hoping against hope. I shall be happy in this way. I shall be happy in this way. So here Prabhupada is very, very categorically saying that, unnecessary working is not required. Atyahara prascha, Rupa Goswami also says that. And Prabhupada says like a mudha or ass, a rascal is like working like an ass, which is not required. I remember reading one of the Shrutakirti Prabhu, I think, note. He says in Australia, Prabhupada, the morning walk, we saw many people are running towards the factories, running. And Prabhupada literally weeping, crying, why these people are struggling so much, why they have to run like this. It applies to me also, like the way we work. So it's very, very clear that, how we should balance, or I should, try to minimize the material work and as much as possible engage in Krishna consciousness. So here, he very clearly says, Krishna is Supreme Father. He will take care of it. We don't need to do extra endeavor, unnecessary. And he gives example. And he was talking in 1975 when all the hippies were becoming devotees. He says, otherwise we become all hippies. And today, if you see in India also, the situation goes like this. There are many people, today's youth, they are become so, indifferent to the, our society, because of various technological development, whether it's gadgets or the kind of online material they available, they become totally indifferent. Whatever happens to the neighbor, whatever happens to one family, they're not bothered. They are least bothered. I remember I was talking to one of the principal of RR Nagar College. He was saying that there was a boy did something and he was suspended. So that day night, he sent a message to the principal that I'm committing suicide. So principal got worried. He got attention to the police, and finally they, brought him. And next day, the parents came, and the boy came to the principal's chamber, and mother and father, they're crying, please come back, please help. But the principal asked his boy, my dear son, what do you want? You want to study? I will give you. You want money? I'll provide you. You want work? I'll give you. For everything, he says, no, I don't want anything. Do you want to study? No. Do you want to do business? No. What do you want? I don't want anything. Means what? No. Totally indifferent. Mother is literally crying. Even a small tear from his eyes not coming. He's so kind of hard stone. So this is the result of our scientific development or technological development. Again, I'm repeating, we are not against technology. How we use the technology for our own development is the most important. Otherwise, the society, like Prabhupada says, shall never be happy. The Prabhupada is very, very categorically saying, I may in the dream or illusion, I think that I'll become happy by owning one more gadget or developing one more building, I'll be happy. No, Prabhupada is very, very clear, and that is the instruction Prabhupada gives. So that is the nature of material, world, the conditioned soul. I mean, we also always want, as a soul, we want to be happy, right? So that is how our society, our nature is, that we all want to be happy. But where you have to get happy, that's the fundamental. Many times preaching, we use that, right? That's the fundamental. But we as a practicing devotees also to understand how we should engage our services, how we should use technology, how we should use our money, in what level we should use. We should think and deliberate. Otherwise we will also not much different from outside world. That's the point I'm trying to make. We realized it, we understood, we are practicing, we are in the safe hands of Srila Prabhupada. ISKCON is a very, very safe hand. But at the same time, we should understand any trouble getting out of it, or trouble of getting into the extra use of technology. We need to understand that. Otherwise, Prabhupada here is say that, like, Krishna, Supreme Lord, is our Father, he'll take care of it. There is no need to extra endeavor. Like he gives example, elephant, he requests a huge quantity of food, but there is no scarcity. But in human life, there is economic scarcity. Now there is rumors that there is, the economic problem going to come, recession going to come, people are losing job, so many things going to come, because this is how, people have created a problem. Like Prabhupada in the purport says that the technological development, developing more on automobiles, resulted in more roads, more traffic jams, more pollutions, and fuel scarcity. Some countries, we know that they are suffering because of fuel scarcity. So all the scarcity is created by us, the human. In the animal world, if we leave the animal to themselves, there's no scarcity. They can manage so well the society. But it's only human has this scarcity. So many times we think that we are intelligent, we are advanced, but are we really advanced? Are we really intelligent? Like how we think that all the memories are gone from here to the gadgets. This is the fact, because everything goes into, in olden days, people used to remember everything. Once told, he will remember. But now I don't remember half an hour before what I spoke, what I read. And I don't remember any of the numbers, any of the names, because now I'm into this gadget, which is actually the problem creator many places. Of course, I'm not against mobile, but problem is that that's what we use is important. Otherwise, our life is like me and mine. Majority cases, me only. Mine is also comes next. So that is the very, 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 very self-centered society we are going through that. So as a practicing devotees, it's our responsibility to come out and give this knowledge to others. Of course, we have to preach ourselves, we have to practice ourselves, like in aircraft, how they say, put oxygen for yourself. We have to do our sadhana nicely, we have to do our activity nicely, and at the same time we give it to others, because that is the contribution we can give. That's how we can give some return back to Srila Prabhupada's mercy we got. Otherwise, our activity, if it's centered me, will be trouble only. Otherwise, if you keep Krishna in the center, Krishna-centered activities will always be pleasurable and will be pleasing. Otherwise, many times what happens that I will go my way and other person will go in his own way. So that's said that the two power centers cannot work in the same places. So that definitely be collide. So that's why we have to have a very, very clear understanding that how our Shastras given, how our scriptures are given, how Srila Prabhupada has given this knowledge, how Srila Prabhupada disciples are guiding us. So that is a factor and we should imbibe in our life. Otherwise, we always we start, envying others. Like Prabhupada mentions that whenever he was applying for visa or whenever going to immigration, the immigration officers looking like, he says he's barking like a dog. Why are you coming to my territory? Because everyone is bothered. It's my country, my place, my state, my house, everything mine, or next comes ours. So if you come out of that, that's why Srila Prabhupada established this ISKCON where whole world can live together. So this is a point we need to understand. So many times what happens that we use technology, but technology should not use us. This is the most important point we need to understand in our life. Many times what happens that technology uses, we become slave of technology. Olden days, our Prabhupada used to say Godasa. Now we are not Godasa, we are technology dasa. We are become servant of technology. We become servant of gadgets. That is most important. Instead of that, if we use technology for right purpose, like how Prabhupada says that utility is a principle, whatever, dictaphone, microphone, whatever, laptop, use it, but use it for right purpose, engage that into Krishna conscious activity. So that is what will give us a right result. Otherwise, we will become slaves of technology. Many places, what happens that we are instead of using gadget, we are loving gadget and we use people. This is another we don't have that relationship with the people. The society today has become so narrow that we don't even know who is living in our neighbor. In one of the lecture, His Grace Jagat Prabhu says that today's world, joint family means husband, wife, if they stay together, joint family. Otherwise, it's not even joint family. The olden days, like grandfather, uncle, aunties, all living together, cousins living together, that's all gone now. So we have become so centered to the gadgets and technology, either internet, laptop, mobile. This is our society today. That's why we, Prabhupada says that we should not love gadgets. We should love people. This is a striking point. We should, otherwise we will be loving gadgets. We will be using the people. People should be loved and gadgets should be used. So this is the technological development we should understand. Otherwise, if you go back to the technology wise, our olden days Shastra also, Kardam Muni had such a wonderful technology. He could fly the whole city, with the garden, with all the facilities. We and the Dehuti, they could fly different planets. So technology was there, but how they used it, that's important. Today, to develop one small instrument, the scientists find it so difficult. And when they develop a small thing, they make it such a huge, publicity saying that I developed it. But if you go back to our Shastras, it was there, and similarly, Narada Muni could fly to any planets. There are the kind of latest the equipment is required. He could fly anywhere. That is the technology he had. Similarly, so many Shastras, even talking about Ravana. Ravana had a Pushpak Viman. I'm saying that technology was there. It's only now we think that we invented it, and we got into more trouble. So that's why Prabhupada says that material world means continuous suffering. This world, dukkhalayam shashvatam, Krishna also says that, but that continuous suffering, if you are to come out of it, Prabhupada gives only conclusion is to take up Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he says, Janma Mrityu Dukkha Dosha Darshanam. That is the continuous problem. Like in Guru Ashtakam, we sing Samsara Dhava Nalida Loka. This is a kind of full of problems only. It's only the Guru's mercy. It's only Krishna's mercy. Some, mercy rain comes, we can be saved. And no, definitely we have got this mercy of Srila Prabhupada. That's why we are all in ISKCON today. That's why we are practicing Krishna consciousness. Now it's our job is to at least stay there, understand the philosophy nicely, and love people, love devotees, take care of devotees, and use gadgets. So that technological development can help us. Otherwise, Prabhupada gives example of how the Pavarga, Parishrama, continuously working 18 hours. Prabhupada elaborately mentions on this Pavarga, how people are suffering because of unwanted working, because it really requires so much wealth. I mean, we need to understand how much I need, because tomorrow's next day, how much I'm going to take, it's not in my control. But we need to understand, I need to take a balance, how much I should work, how much I should save, how much I should charity. This is the understanding you should have. Otherwise, like the Pavarga will be working like a dog, like the ass, the washerman keep hitting, and this ass carrying the clothes, thinking that the small carrot tied on the head I'll eat. Similarly, we are working. So that effort, what is that result? Pa, 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 pa. The fena, the frustration comes and the foam comes, but what is the use? We are not able to, come out of it. And the more further we go, it gets into the bhaya, the fear of either losing the wealth, or losing our loved one, or losing our life itself. So finally the mrityu. So this is how the society is that. So we as a practicing devotees, we need to understand that the philosophy nicely, imbibe that philosophy in our life, practice it to the extent best possible. Otherwise, remember one of the poem found in the internet, but this is the most apt for the this particular topic here. So he says that there are quite a lot of points are given. We'll try to discuss a few points. Today we have more income, but more diverse. The olden days, people had not much, financial, in that terms, but they were happy. Both the families were happy. But today, both husband and wife working and resulting into more diverse. So if you go back to our Vedic system, there's nothing like diverse. Of course, the marriage itself is not, love at first sight, diverse at first sight. No, it was not like that. It was very, very arranged, very, very systematic, where the father, mother, or the gurus, they understand the nature of boy and girl, and then they put right boy, right girl with the right nature into the marriage life. And there are processes for that. Of course, it's not enforced, but at the same time, proper guided, and they had seniors to guide them, like joint family, whether uncles, aunties, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, everybody was there to guide them. But today we are become very, very isolated, and there is nobody to guide. It's only the Google guru who is guiding us. And we are thinking that I'll earn more money, I'll be happy. Similarly, we have, like Prabhupada says, we built so many highways, so many roads, like people are talking about now, the Bangalore-Mysore Expressway. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Point is that we build the wider highways, but our viewpoints become narrow. Our thinking process become narrow. The wider thinking, the thinking for the society, like, our Shastra, Sarvo Jano Sukhina Bhavantu, thinking about let everybody be happy. Like Prahlad says that let everybody's sin come to me, but that is not there today. It's only me and mine. That technological development has not solved this problem, instead of created a more problem for us. Similarly, we have more degrees. People take so many PhDs. I remember talking to one person. If you see his visiting card, he has put backside the full, how many PhDs, maybe 5-6 PhDs, 5-6 masters, and 5-6 foreign degrees. But the way he talks, it's 100% nonsense. There is no sympathy for the society. There is no sympathy for the people or other living entities. Forget, God consciousness. Even for God consciousness, not there. Even for sympathy for the living entity is not there. He's talking about how to make money, how to create problem for others. This is the viewpoint. So the degrees doesn't give us a solution. And common sense. In olden days, people had no much kind of a degrees, education in that perspective. They had real educations. Today, that the modern education did not give any solution. Like in one of the joke is said that there was a consultant who goes to the village. There was a farmer where a bull was tied, and the bull is kind of rotating the grain for extracting the oil. So the consultant goes to the farmer and asks. The farmer is sitting somewhere in the field working, and the bull keep rotating. So the consultant asks the farmer, so how do you know this bull is keep rotating? If a bull if it stands there, how do you, because you are not there. Then farmer said, I tied a bell to the bull's neck. So when he walks, the bell rings. So I know the bull is keep rotating. Then the consultant asked, what if the bull stands and keep rotating his heads? Then the farmer said, he is not a consultant like you, So the point is that that common sense that is not there today, which is there in the previous people. We have taller buildings, shorter temples. People today, the people going to the temple is very, very less. We see, our own temple also, how many neighbors are coming, there's so many temples. How many people are going to temple? How many people have time to go to temple? We are so busy, morning 5 o'clock, start driving or getting into so many traffic jams and reach office by 9:30. And again, 5:30 come, reach 9 o'clock. So we are on the road struggling, going up and down. And in the process, we build big the concrete buildings, and there is no real nourishment for the soul. The real temple is not there. We have built bigger houses, but smaller families. Each family, each one gets married, he wants his own houses. The staying together is gone. The family become small. Now husband also wants separate house, wife also wants separate house, children want separate house, and end of the day, they are all focused to me and mine by the gadgets. They are not coming out of it. Similarly, the more experts, less solutions. In a corporate world, we see when there is a problem, they call for a consultant. The consultants comes and discuss so many things, but we don't find the solutions. In olden days, people had a solution for everything. For whatever problem, they'll find an immediate solution and problem is fixed. But today, so many meetings, so many deliberations, so many discussions, finally solution zero. So, and more knowledge, less judgment. Today, many of the lawyers would see how many cases pending in court, because so many arguments, counter argument going on, but judgment is not coming. In olden days, if you see how the kings used to give judgment, maybe not much deliberation. He will understand the fact. Even forget king, even after that, the panchayati system, the villagers, they will know exactly who's for fault, who is at right, and they'll give judgment. The decision is given, justice is given. Today, so many laws, so many the clauses made such a way that common man cannot understand it. I was reading some of the clauses is drafted such a way that it'll start one place and some other places, and if you reach here, there is no connection to the what we started from there. That's how our clauses are written, and we are not able to make the judgment. More medicine, less wellness. Yeah, the society is, we are developing new medicine, but nature is creating more and more diseases because we are not taking care of nature. The nature is not taking care, nature will react itself. Whatever disease now, recently we see how corona has come. Now, definitely, if you go in this line, the more disease will come. There's no guarantee, 100% it will come. But unless we take care of the real problem, we cannot solve it. We conquered outer space, but not inner space. We have sent so many spacecraft to different planets. We claim, like how people said we are going to moon. Prabhupada at that time he said no, they cannot go to moon. But today also people are, our so-called scientists claiming that we will go to that planet, we'll go to this. But have we really conquered our own inner space, our own consciousness? That is a challenge we have. And higher income, lesser moral values. The moral values are gone. Today's student in society, the moral value, if you teach them, they will be laughing at us because there's no importance for the moral values. Telling truth or being respectable seniors or whatever it is, because it's not there, because everything focused on how to make money, how to develop more and more gadgets. Cleaner roads, dirty thought, like Prabhupada says, it created a more and more pollution to the air and more and more diseases. And similarly, more convenience, less time. In olden days, we never had a washing machine or micro oven or fridge, but everything was comfortable. Now we have so many, gadgets, clean the house, keep everything safe. Even before entering the house, from the traffic itself, I can instruct house to keep the AC on, fridge, everything technology developed. TV can be off, sitting somewhere, all the remote control is there. But still, we don't have time for practice Krishna consciousness. In olden days, people were so much time and they were happy. Multiply our positions and again, less values. We are increased our position, but our values are reduced. Cleaned up the air, polluted the soul. This is the most important. Our consciousness, our own self is fully polluted with the ahankara, kama, krodha, mada, matsara. We are not able to come out of it. That is why Srila Prabhupada is very, very clearly saying that take up Krishna consciousness and practice it nicely. Otherwise, we are ending it to deeper problem only. Long in quantity, short in quality. Many things we think that I developed more and more items, but the real quality is gone. Learn how to make living, but not life. We are developed so many technologies to make our comfortable life. People say that I want to be standard of living. What is the standard of living? Standard of living, I should have a Mercedes car. I should have that Apple gadgets. I'll have, that. I should have this kind of fridge. I should have this kind of TV. I should have this kind of a sofa, recliner. This is the standard of living. But what about my life? When I leave this body, where I'm going to give? Added years to our life, but not life to our years. So how many years we live, at the end, we have to leave everything and go. Went all the way to the moon, back, but trouble to crossing the road. This is a joke. We are not able to, develop the countries. Prabhupada also says that how the traffic jam or technological development has created more problems. So, and we spend more, but have less. Always many times we said that what we, store is not ours. Like in Kannadalli, there's a proverb, Bachittaddu pararige, kottaddu tanage. But here we don't have that feeling of, yes, I'm rich, because Prabhupada says that I'm the son of that rich father, Krishna. That feeling is not there because we count on my bank balances, my possessions. But, the real richness is that in the heart. Tall man, short character. This is another topic, the character. Olden days, if a father has to find a boy for a girl, First thing, he will look for the character of the boy. Next, he will look for health, and then he look for wealth. But today, the character, health is ignored. Wealth, which company is working, Infosys, how much salary, how many lakhs he is getting, that's important. I mean, not everything else is ignored. So that's why, and people respect also. Today's society, if you see, those who got money is respected. Those, and his characters are not, those who gone to prison, come back, still they're glorified. Because that's how the society, goes. And world war peace, but domestic fight. We talk about world war peace, but we keep fighting inside. So this is how our society is today. So our senses always wants something to enjoy. Sense cannot be kept silent, right? Like my eyes want to see, ears want to hear, and tongue want to eat. So sense gratification, gratification sense is okay, but sense gratification is a bad, because we have to give something to sense. So I have to use my eyes to see the beautiful thing, beautiful Supreme Lord's form. I have to give something to my ears to hear the holy name. I have to eat, I have to give something to my tongue, Krishna Prasad. Instead of that, if I divert that, my senses to the sense gratification to the bad, then we will be in trouble. Like Prabhupada in the 34 purport says that we are always dreaming that I will find a solution, or we are in hallucination, So during a dream of in the 7 hours sleep also we are dreaming, but we are dreaming more during awake. That's the most important. When I am awake, people say that daydreaming, right? So we are dreaming, I will do this, I will do that, I will develop that, I'll buy that house, I buy this, we dream for the next 70 years. The 7 hours sleep, we'll dream maybe 7 minutes or whatever it is. But during the day, we dream more, and we get into more and more trouble. And that is a, problem we are going to create. Like Krishna says, Devi Yesha Gunamai Mama Maya Durataya. So this material world, the Maya Devi cannot be controlled. Like Prabhupada says, when we take up Krishna consciousness, we are declaring war against Maya. We cannot fight against Maya. Maya is so strong. Krishna says, but one who surrendered to me, we can, take control of Maya. Maya will help. One of the Prabhu he was telling that actually those who are preaching should pray to Maya, please help me to preach others, because the job of Maya is also preaching. Maya is also preaching, right? So Maya Devi, we take her help. Otherwise, we cannot fight against Maya. And that's why Prabhupada says, my disciples are not fully fearful of Maya. Yes, we are taken Krishna consciousness, we are under safe hand. But at the same time, we should be very, very careful, understand the power of Maya. Unless we fully surrender to Supreme Lord, we cannot take control of Maya. We cannot win against Maya. Like example of Pandavas. Pandavas are great warriors. They had all the power, but it would not have been not possible for them to win against Kauravas without Krishna. Without Krishna's the mercy, Krishna, right time, right instructions, right directions. Whether it is how to kill Bhishma, how to kill Karna, how to kill Drona, Jayadratha, whatever it is, how Krishna guided them, that is what leading them to victory. Same way, all the monkeys during Ramayana, they could not have win just without Ram and Lakshman. Monkeys could not have win, but because Lord Ram and Lakshman, they could win. They could, even Arjuna could burn, Lanka. Angada tail could not be touched by the Ravana's people. So the point is that unless we take up Krishna consciousness, we surrender to Supreme Lord, we cannot, take success in our life. Like Bhagavata, Krishna says, Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mama anusmarana yudhaya Maya arpita mano buddhir Maya evashyasi asasmshreha. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With you, if your activity is dedicated to me and in your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagement. One can continue them. At the same time, think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This will free one from material contamination, engage in the mind and intelligence Krishna. By chanting Krishna's name, one will be transferred to the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, without a doubt. So how Lord Krishna telling Arjuna, Mama Smarana, Anusmarana Yudhaya. You do your duty, but think of me, always remember me. And same instruction as Grahasthas, we all have our duties, of course, prescribed duties. And with that duty, we do our fight against Maya, fight against so many people in the society, and so that we practice nicely. At the same time, we preach, we do our sadhana nicely and preach. And with that mood, we'll be able to succeed. And that Krishna says that such person with the intelligent fixed on me, you will attain me without fail. That's the guarantee Krishna has given. With that guarantee, 100%, we can all succeed. All the technology can be used. Now, today we are using a laptop, we can using mobile for reading or understanding. But if you go beyond that, the same laptop, same mobile, if I start using for bad things, then I'm in trouble. So that is why the Prabhupada's instruction, utility is a principle. Always think about Krishna and do a service. And similarly, Bhagavata 3.25, it says, Shaktaha karmani avidvamsho yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidhamsa tatak shaktaha chikshishur loka sangramam. And as the ignorant perform their duties with attachment results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment for the sake of leading people to right path. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, a person in Krishna consciousness and a person not in Krishna consciousness are differentiated by different desires. A Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not conducive to the development of Krishna consciousness. He may even act externally like ignorant person who is too much attached to the material activities, but one is engaged in such activities for the satisfaction of his sense gratification. Whereas the others is engaged for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna conscious person is required to show the people how to act, how to engage the result of actions for the purpose of Krishna consciousness. So here also Lord is saying, ignorant may be performing his duties with attachment to results, whereas a devotee who is intelligent, he does his duty, but he has no attachment with the result. Prabhupada very clearly mentions that both activity looks similar. In the office, a devotee and other person also is working. Both are working dedicatedly, but the devotee always thinks, whatever the evening I'm going to do, how I'm going to preach, how many book I'm going to distribute, how much I'm going to help others, and how I'm going to engage the earnings today for Krishna service. Whereas other person may be thinking, which bar I'll go, what I will do, how will I enjoy my senses. So that is the difference. The work same, but how do we engage? So that's why Prabhupada says, therefore Krishna conscious person is required to show the people how to act. So this is our responsibility. We have to show to the society how to act, how to work in a Krishna consciousness, and how to preach, so that everybody gets the mood of Krishna consciousness and attain the purpose of Krishna consciousness. So that's what Prabhupada concluding here. So similarly, if you go back to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the mood in which he writes Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says that I am worse than worm in the stool. But he says those who read Srimad Bhagavata, Chaitanya Charitamrita definitely go back. So understand the mood of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So the mood is that such a surrendered mood, such a humble mood. but at the same time, the process is so important. Processes definitely give us, result. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada's process definitely give us result, no doubt. But I should not take credit for that. If I take credit, it's me who's going to preach, then I'll be failure. But what Prabhupada's given mood, Prabhupada's process, 100% going to give us like the result. Like Bhagavad Dharma is kind of a soul of the practice. Vaishnava Dharma or Varnashrama Dharma is the kind of a body and soul. We need to understand this both. So I'll just conclude the few points here, how one should use Varnashrama, or how in the society there are different set of people who think the Varnashrama and Bhagavad Dharma, the real devotion and Varnashrama. I'll connect this to, and finally we'll end this. So take an example of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu is fully aware of complete the philosophy. We know that when Hiranyaksha was killed, he gave a nice Bhagavad class. He preached so nicely. He gave all the philosophy, but he had neither love for Krishna and no respect for the process. So this is the 100% atheist mentality. Today, if in the society also we have a people who are 100%, they studied all the scriptures, they know all the things, but they are 100% atheist. They don't have any respect for the Lord and no love for the Lord, and at the same time, no respect for the process. So this is the one set of people. And there are other set of people, they respect the process, but not love for Krishna. For example, Shukracharya. Shukracharya knew the process and he had full respect, but he had no love for Vamanadev. So that is another set of people. There are people in the society, they know what is, if I do this, I'll get this, but they have no love for Krishna. There are another set of people is that one loves Krishna, but not respect process. Example given is Bhishmadev. Bhishmadev is a great devotee. We are read in Mahabharata, like how before leaving the body, how he is glorifying Supreme Lord. Even before that, he was full of love for Krishna, but he did not support Krishna's process, like establishing dharma. He was thinking out, he was bent upon his own dharma, protecting the Kuru dynasty. So that is there are a set of people think that yes, I have full love for you, but I don't accept your process. Example, some of the Srila Prabhupada's initial disciples, they were coming and telling Prabhupada, I love you. But Prabhupada said, please accept my GBC. Please work under them. Please work under temple president. No. I cannot accept it. I will not work under them. Will not accept the process. So Prabhupada said, those who don't accept my process, they don't love me. So that is a message. Prabhupada also said that. There are another set of people, the good people, love for Krishna and respect for process. This is the real process we should establish. Like Narada Muni or Pandavas, Prithu Maharaj. There are so many examples and the wonderful devotees today that we have to respect all the process given by Krishna. At the same time, we should have love for Krishna. So that is the ultimate goal of life. In the process of our technological development, we use the technology and use our Krishna conscious method to solve the problems and attain the real life of real success in the society. So I'll end here one instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs to Raghunath Goswami. So he also says that you should not make yourself a show bottle devotee, become a false renunciant. For the time being, enjoy material world in a befitting way. Do not become attached to it. So this is the instruction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives Raghunath Goswami. So for us also as a Grahasthas, we are in the Grahastha family, but we have to take care of our Grahastha life. At the same time, internally, we should be renunciant. Internally, we should see how to engage ourselves. Finally, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is that Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana Bhagavat Shravanam Mathura Vasa Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana Sakala Sadhana Shrestha Yei Pancha Anga Krishna Prema Janmaya Ye Panchera Alpasanga. One should associate with the devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside in Mathura, worship the deity with faith and veneration. The 5 limbs of devotional service are the best of all. Even a slight performance of 5 awakens love for Krishna. So just to conclude here, whatever the technology development, whatever the scientific development, whatever the advancement, economic advancement, if you take this into this 5 anga of life, devotion service, how I can use that for Krishna service, whether reading Srimad Bhagavatam or preaching the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and the reciting the holy dham or Mayapur, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, wherever it is, the holy dham. Or Srila Prabhupada said, wherever my temples are there, ISKCON temples, that is Vrindavan. So reciting the temple, and that's how the technology can be used. Build a nice temple, build a nice infrastructure, but for residents of devotees and worship deities. Prabhupada, one place says that how the peaceful the society is depends how nicely deity is served. The deity is happy, everything is happy. So, and these are the 5 limbs, of course, chanting the holy name and distributing prasadam. That's what will give us a 100% solution. Prabhupada says that that's even a little of the performance of this will awaken the love for Krishna. With this, I'll end here. So our sense gratification has to be stopped. Technological development has to be used for right purpose. With that, we'll be able to solve our problems, and definitely developing Krishna consciousness is the ultimate goal of life. Hare Krishna. Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for wonderfully elaborating on the point. Material advancement without Krishna consciousness is useless, or of no great attempt. And wonderful analogies, those list of analogies you shared in terms of the advancements, but what each advancement has a negative point. Devotees can unmute themselves to share reflections, or if they have any questions, please ask, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Venkapala Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam. Wonderful, Prabhu. I joined late, but it was very nice to hear about the reminding Varnashram Dharma and Vaishnava Dharma, its body and soul. So how both are needed. One is helping us reach the higher, purpose. So very simple explanation. That was very helpful. And also this point about I keep hearing this repeatedly, that we should Prabhupada and following the GBC from. So that's a very important reminder, because in Kali Yuga, I think this is the best model to, like we always say, the glory of the joint family system in the past, but it's no longer a reality. Very difficult in today's time, but I think this is a very good alternate Prabhupada has left us. So we have to, and not for just material gain, but just for family peace and harmony, but it's for the ultimate gain. So that you keep reminding. That's very helpful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandat Pranam.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for a wonderful class. Very, very practical examples which you gave. And what really struck me was one point which you said about in the beginning, talking about how we today, use people and, love our, the gadgets. And that's the other way around. It should be that we should love people and use the gadgets. use gadgets. And that's very, very critical. I think a very strong statement. And yes, we have become, I would say, we become less and less, more stone-hearted, and, started using more for what we love or what we can get from things. Actually, that is attracts us than what I can serve and how it can be of use. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Wonderful class, Prabhu.
Radharani Smriti Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. See, the advantages of the joint families are wonderful, which is not to be seen nowadays. I still long for it because I have stayed with 4 generations, like my great-grandmother was there. That's how we lived together. But now nobody wants to live with the other. Yes, Prabhu. Wonderful class, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams.
Krishna.
Thanks for the so many wonderful teachings, Prabhu. Prabhu, about this Bhishma Deva's character, I was always confused. So today you said it very nicely, Prabhu. But if anybody is great devotee of the Lord, they should develop good qualities, no, Prabhu. Still, I can't understand why Bhishma Deva behaved in the way he behaved, Prabhu.
Yeah, maybe one of the question was asked when Prabhu, he gave a, answer. So with that also, Bhishmadev and Krishna, they wanted to give a message to society. Such a great warrior, such a powerful warrior. If he against Krishna, he'll be killed. That's the message Bhishmadev himself wanted to give. So that's why even the other side, he knew how Krishna is. He knew Krishna is Supreme Personality Godhead, but he wanted to give a message to society that when I'm against Krishna, I'll be killed. So that's how the society is, that whatever intelligent, whatever power I have it, if I go against, I'll be finished. That's the message.
Thanks, Prabhu. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Thanks
Krishna,
for wonderful class, Prabhu. This Ushana Kavi is Shukracharya, no, Prabhu. In Vibhuti Yoga, he is mentioned that Sri Krishna, one of his Vibhutis is like Kavi, among Kavis, I am Ushana Kavi, he says. So why Shukracharya, again, is not respecting Vamanadeva?
I mean, see, the Shukracharya wanted, Bali Maharaj not to give what Bali Maharaj kind of given word, right? I will give whatever you ask. But when Vamadeva asked 3 foot, because Shukracharya knew what Vamanadeva was going to do. So he knew the process. That's why he said no, because he doesn't have a love for Vamanadeva. That's the point I'm trying to make. So Shukracharya has a full knowledge of the process. He knew who is Krishna, what he's going to do, but you don't have a love for him. So I hope you understand the point. But that other point, what you said, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Yes, bro.
Okay. Yes, bro. We can conclude with Vaishnava Pranams. Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you, bro.
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. We'll conclude here. We'll meet again tomorrow.